When Earth's Titan warship arrived for first contact, every sensor flared and every heart stopped. But long before that moment in deep space, on a quiet hillside under a pale pink sunset, a boy named Eli sat alone, staring at the stars. He wasn't looking at warships or aliens. He was thinking about his best friend. Maya. Maya had moved away 2 years ago. Her family had to leave their small town when her dad got a new job on the other side of the planet. They promised to visit. They said they'd call every week. But life got busy. Calls became rare. Texts turned into emojis. And then silence. Eli still kept her old hoodie, the one she left behind by accident. It smelled like rain and mint gum, just like her. He wore it on cold nights, sitting outside with a small radio he'd built in science class. It wasn't much, just a simple receiver, but it could pick up deep space signals, satellite pings, and sometimes, if he was lucky, a faint music broadcast from a faraway city. He liked to pretend one of those signals was from her. "I miss you," he'd whisper into the static. "But I don't know how to say it without sounding sad." He didn't post about her online. He didn't make dramatic videos. He just waited, hoped, wondered if she ever looked up and thought of him too. School wasn't the same without her. She was the one who laughed at his jokes, who helped him with math, who convinced him to join the science club. Without her, he felt like a puzzle missing a piece. One night, while scanning the sky, Eli caught something strange. A signal, not from a satellite, not from a plane. It came from far beyond Earth deep space. It pulsed in a rhythm. 3 short. 3 long, 3 short. He froze. It was SOS in Morse code, and it was repeating. Eli recorded it, cleaned the noise, and played it again. There was something familiar in the pattern, not just the code, but the timing, the way the pauses fell. It reminded him of something Maya used to do when they were kids. They had a secret knock on their classroom desks. Tap, 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 pause. Tap, 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 pause. Tap dash, tap dash, tap dot, dash dot, dash dot, dash dash dash, dot dash dot dash dot just dot. She always said, "If we ever get lost, I'll find you with this." At first, Eli thought it was a coincidence. But the signal kept coming. Every night at exactly 21:47 local time. From the same point in the sky, his hands shook as he ran the data. Then he saw it. The signal wasn't a signal, just Morse code. It was layered. Underneath the SOS, there was a faint audio loop, a girl's voice, singing a song they used to listen to on repeat. "Carry You Home" by an old Earth band. And then, clear as a bell, her voice said, "Hey, Eli, if you're hearing this, I'm sorry it took so long." Tears filled his eyes. Maya wasn't just sending a message. She was reaching out. But how? He dug deeper. The signal was being relayed from a satellite near Mars, a deep space research station, and the call sign? Project Astra, Earth's long-range outreach. She was working on it. A student intern. Part of a team testing long distance. Communication for future colonies. She had remembered. She had looked for him, and she had used their old code. Eli didn't hesitate. He built a transmitter from spare parts, antennas from old TVs, a power supply from a broken drone, and a voice modulator from a toy robot. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't strong. But it was his. He recorded a message, not a long speech. Just simple words. "Maya, I got your signal. I never stopped listening. I'm still here. And I'm sending this to you the same way you found me through the stars." He added the song they loved. And then, at the end, he tapped the Morse code back. Asterisk dot dot. Dot 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 asterisk. Asterisk SOS dot asterisk. He launched the signal into space. Then He waited. Days passed. No reply. Doubt crept in. Maybe the signal failed. Maybe she'd moved on. Maybe the universe was too big, and they were too small. But then, one quiet night, his radio beeped. Incoming. The signal was stronger this time, and when he played it, Maya's voice came through, clearer than before. Eli, I heard you. I heard you. She laughed, and it sounded like sunlight. I didn't know if you'd remember. I didn't know if you'd even care. Of course I care, he whispered, even though she couldn't hear him yet. She told him about her life, how she missed home, how she thought of him when she looked at Earth from the observatory, how she built the signal system just to see if anyone from home was still listening. I wanted to say I'm sorry, she said, for disappearing, for not trying harder. But I didn't know how, until I looked up and realized you might be looking up too. Eli smiled. He typed a reply, this time longer. He told her about the hoodie, about the hill, about how he never stopped hoping. And then he said, you found me in the stars. Now let's find each other again. They started talking slowly at first, then every day. Messages, voice clips, even video calls to the research station's public link. It wasn't the same as being together, but it was something real, something true. And then, one morning, the news broke. A massive ship larger than any known vessel appeared at the edge of the solar system. No warning, no signal. It was ancient, armored, and bore the name Earth on its side. The world panicked, but Eli didn single quotes T, because when the ship finally opened comms, the first voice that came through was calm, clear, and full of hope. This is Lieutenant Karavex of the TFS Leviathan. We come in peace. We remember. And beneath the official message, in a hidden data stream, was a personal note. To Eli on the hill, tell Maya her signal reached home. Humanity never stopped listening. We carried the light. Eli looked up at the sky, tears in his eyes. When Earth's Titan warship arrived for first contact, every sensor flared and every heart stopped. But for Eli and for Maya, light years away, it was the moment they both finally felt found. 2 years had passed since Eli first heard Maya's voice in the stars. The world had changed in that time. The arrival of the Leviathan, Earth's long-lost Titan warship, had shaken the solar system. At first, nations feared it was a weapon. But as its crew stepped forward, humans who had survived centuries of isolation, drifting beyond the edge of known space people, began to understand. The ship wasn't a threat. It was a message. We never gave up. We never forgot. And we still cared. Eli watched the global broadcasts with a quiet pride. The crew spoke of resilience, of carrying Earth's memory through darkness. But for Eli, the real story wasn't in the grand speeches or the advanced tech. It was in the small things, like the way a hidden data packet had carried Maya's voice across space, just like she once promised. And now, Maya was coming home. Not just home to Earth, but back to him. She had been offered a place on the Leviathan's science team, a chance to travel with humanity's most legendary vessel as it made first contact with alien civilizations. But she turned it down. I have something to return to, she said in a short message sent through the public comms network. Someone. Eli didn't know how to feel. Happy? Nervous? Scared? He hadn't seen her in years. What if things were awkward? What if they had changed too much? He kept busy. He helped local scientists decode more of the Leviathan's open-source data technology that ran on emotion-based AI, art preserved in quantum storage, even music encoded in light. Waves. The ship wasn't just a machine. It was a library, a monument, a promise. And Eli realized something. Just like the Leviathan, he had been carrying something too. He had carried his friendship with Maya, through silence, through distance, through the ache of missing someone you love. He hadn't known how to reach her at first, but he had kept trying. And in the end, it was the smallest things, the shared song, the old knock, the quiet hope that brought her back. Now, she was landing at the new spaceport near his city. Eli stood at the edge of the crowd, heart pounding. He wore the old hoodie she left behind. He wasn't sure why. Maybe to remind her, maybe to remind himself. The shuttle touched down in a soft glow of blue light. The ramp lowered Dot, and there she was, taller, her hair longer, tied in a braid. A small scar on her cheek from a lab accident, she later said. But her eyes, bright, warm, full of laughter, were exactly the same. She scanned the crowd. Dot, and then she saw him. She didn't run. She didn't shout. She just smiled and tapped her fingers against her leg. 3 quick taps, 3 slow, 3 quick. So, see, Eli's breath caught. He tapped back, right there in the open, with his hand on his pocket. Then, without a word, they walked toward each other. When they met, she said, "I thought you might not come." "I thought you might not recognize me," he said. "I'd know you anywhere," she said. "Even in a million stars, I'd find your signal." They sat on the hill that night, just like old times. The Leviathan hung in orbit, a silent guardian. Above the planet. "I used to think space was empty," Maya said, looking up. "But now I know it's full of voices. Of people trying to say, 'I'm here. Do you remember me?'" Eli nodded. "We spent so long apart, but we never really let go." "No," she said softly. "We held on in the quiet." They talked for hours about the years apart, about the loneliness, about how hard it was to reach out when you're not sure you'll be heard. "But you did," Eli said, and I answered. Maya turned to him. "That's the thing about humans, don't you think? We don't give up. Not on each other, not on hope." Eli thought of the Leviathan, a ship built not just to survive, but to return, to reconnect, to say, "We are still here." That was HFY humanity. Fuck. Yeah, not because of big wars or loud victories, but because of small, quiet acts of courage. Like sending a signal into the dark, like wearing an old hoodie on a cold night, like tapping out a secret knock, just in case someone remembers, like choosing to come home. A few days later, Eli and Maya visited the Science Museum, where a piece of the Leviathan. After Maya came home, life didn't suddenly become perfect. Yes, they laughed again. Yes, they walked to school together. Yes, they sat on the hill at night and watched satellites drift across the sky like slow-moving stars. But time had changed. Them. They weren't the same kids who used to pass notes in class and dream about building a radio that could talk to Mars. No. Maya talked about deep space navigation and quantum signals like they were everyday things. Eli still loved science, but he sometimes felt like he was listening from far away, like her voice was coming through a weak signal, full of static. And then, one morning, she got a message. Not from Earth. From space. The Leviathan, now serving as Earth's ambassador to the stars, was preparing for a long mission beyond the solar system. The crew needed a young linguist, a mind trained in pattern recognition, emotional coding, and lost languages. Maya had been chosen. "You'd be gone how long?" Eli asked, trying to keep his voice steady. 3 years, she said quietly. "Maybe more. The ship moves beyond normal travel. Time works differently out there." Eli nodded. He understood. This wasn't just a job. It was a calling. She had helped Earth reconnect with its lost children among the stars. Now she was being asked to help other worlds do the same. But inside, his heart cracked. Not again, not so soon. He didn't beg her to stay. He didn't cry. He just said, "I'm proud of you, and walked home under a gray sky. For days, he stayed quiet. He stopped going to the hill. He turned off his radio. He folded her old hoodie and placed it in a drawer. It felt like losing her all over again. But this time, he wasn't a boy waiting in the dark. This time, he knew what silence could do, and he refused to let it win. One night, he sat at his desk and opened a notebook. On the first page, he wrote, "How to stay connected when someone is light years away." Then he began. He listed everything they had used before: the Morse code, the songs, the secret knocks. He added new ideas: voice messages encoded in light pulses, simple signals sent through public satellite relays, even a plan to link their old radios to the new Earth-wide communication net. He wasn't just making a guide, he was making a bridge. Then he had an idea. The Leviathan's mission was to make contact with unknown civilizations. But what if Earth could also reach ordinary people lost in the vastness of space? What if families, friends, lovers separated not by war or disaster, but by duty and distance, could still hear each other? Eli took his plan to the local science hub. At first, they smiled politely. "A sweet idea," one engineer said, "but space is too big. Signals get lost." Eli didn't give up. He worked every day after school. He used recycled parts, open source software, and lessons from Maya's old notes. He built a small, low-power transmitter that could send compressed audio through deep space relay nodes to Leviathan and other ships already used. He called it Project Echo. Its purpose? Not war, not warning, just one word: here, away for. Anyone to send a simple message: "I'm okay. I remember you. I care." He tested it one night, aiming the signal toward the Leviathan's predicted orbit. His voice, soft but clear, filled the recording. "Maya, I built something for you, so you'll never have to wonder if I'm listening. I always am." He added the SOS knock. Then he sent it. Weeks passed. No reply. Doubt crept in again. Had the signal failed? Was she too busy? Did she even need this? Then, one quiet evening, his radio buzzed. Not a voice. A song. The same one she had sent from Mars years ago. "Carry you home." But this time, something was different. Under the music, a data stream opened. It was Project Echo replicated, improved, now capable of sending messages across light years using quantum resonance, and a note: "Eli, I showed your design to the crew. They loved it. We're installing it on the Leviathan and sharing it with all Earth ships. We're calling it the Eli Link. No one gets left behind. No one gets forgotten. Thank you for teaching us how to stay human. Even in the dark, I'm still listening. Always." Maya, tears rolled down his face. He hadn't just rebuilt a connection. He had given thousands away to do the same. Families of deep space workers, scientists on far colonies, diplomats on alien worlds. Now they could all send a simple signal: "I'm here. I remember. I care." It wasn't loud. It wasn't flashy, but it was human. And that was enough. Months later, Eli stood with a group of students at the Global Science Forum, watching a live feed from the edge of the Oort cloud. The Leviathan had made contact with its first alien civilization, species that communicated through light and vibration. They had been silent for centuries, believing no one could understand them. Then the Leviathan played a message, not in words. In music. And in the rhythm of 3 taps. So the aliens responded. Not with weapons, not with fear, but with a single pulse of golden light. Peace. Connection. Hope. Back on Earth. News spread fast, but Eli didn't cheer with the crowd. He just looked up at the sky, whispered, "I'm here," and tapped his fingers against his knee. 3 short, 3 long, 3 short, and somewhere in the deep black between stars, Maya felt her console vibrate. She smiled and tapped back. When Earth's Titan warship arrived for first contact, every sensor flared and every heart stopped. But what the galaxy didn't know, what no scanner could detect, was this. The real power of humanity wasn't in its warships or its technology. It was in the quiet courage of ordinary people who refused to let go, who reached across silence, who believed that even the smallest signal could cross the universe and say, I remember you. I care. You are not alone. The stars had never looked so close. From his small apartment window, Leo pressed his palm against the glass and watched the night sky. A new satellite blinked above the city part of the Eli Link network. They called it Now. A system built so no one would ever feel truly far from home. Messages traveled through it every second. A mother's lullaby to her daughter on Mars. A student's poem sent to a brother on a research station near Jupiter. Even simple hellos from strangers who just wanted someone to know they existed. But Leo hadn't sent one. Not yet. He sat in silence most nights, headphones on, listening to old voice messages from his sister, Myra. She had left Earth 2 years ago, not by choice, but because she was part of the first long-term human colony on Proxima b, a planet orbiting a distant star. The journey took months in cryosleep, and time moved differently out there. For every month on Earth, only a few days passed for her. Or was it the other way around? Leo had stopped trying to keep track. What he did know was this. She was far, was busy, and he hadn't heard from her in 117 days. It wasn't her fault. Communication windows were short. Signals took over 4 years to travel one way. By the time a message reached her, it was already ancient history. A joke wasn't funny anymore. A birthday had passed. A sad day had come and gone with no one to share it. Leo felt the distance like a weight. He missed her laugh. The way she used to ruffle his hair and call him professor because he always had his nose in a book. The way she'd stay up with him when he was scared of thunderstorms, telling stories about brave explorers and friendly aliens. Now, the storms still came, and he was still scared, but she wasn't there. He tried to send messages through the Eli Link, but each time he deleted them before hitting send. Hey Myra, it's me. I don't know what to say. Too weak. I miss you. Everything feels empty. Too sad. Are you even thinking of me? Too desperate. So he said nothing. Instead, he built things. Small radios. Signal boosters. Antennas made from wire and old TV parts. He didn't know if they worked. He just liked the feeling of doing. Of reaching out, even if no one answered. One rainy afternoon, while fixing a broken receiver, he found something strange. A signal. Faint. Buried in static. But familiar. He cleaned the audio, slowed it down, filtered the noise. And then he heard it. Music. Not just any music. Their music. The lullaby their mom used to sing, Starlight, Starbright, played on a soft piano. And beneath it, Myra's voice, slow and warm. Leo, if you're hearing this, I'm trying. His breath stopped. The message had been sent months ago, before the long silence. But because of a solar storm, it had bounced off a relay satellite, delayed, lost, then rediscovered by a deep space scanner and rebroadcast through the Eli Link public feed. It wasn't meant for him to hear now, but it was, and it was perfect. Tears filled his eyes as he listened again and again. She hadn't forgotten. She had been trying. She still cared. And suddenly, he knew what to say. He didn't need perfect words. He just needed true ones. That night, he recorded a message. No edits. No pauses. Just him. Myra, he began, voice shaky. I got your song. I've been scared to write. I thought you might not care anymore, but I do. I miss you every day. School's okay. The sky here is still loud with storms, but I keep your old space charm on my desk, and I look at it and think she's out there doing something brave, and maybe I can be brave too. He took a breath. I built a little transmitter. It's not much, but I'm sending this song back to you, the same one Mom sang. I played it on the keyboard. It's a little off-key, but I think she'd like it. He added the music. Then, at the end, he tapped the Morse code 3 short, 3 long. 3 short .sos. Their family code. I'm here. He uploaded it through the Eli link, aimed at Proxima B's relay node. Then he waited. Days passed. Weeks. He kept building, kept listening, kept hoping. Then, one quiet morning, the signal came, not from Proxima B. From the Leviathan. Now orbiting near the edge of interstellar space. The great warship had picked up his message, and instead of letting it drift, Rain tapped gently on the roof of the small coastal observatory where Nia sat, her eyes fixed on the screen in front of her. Outside, the sea rolled under a gray sky, waves whispering against the shore like a lullaby. Inside, the only light came from the soft glow of monitors and the blinking green dot that marked a signal, faint, distant, but their dot, it had taken her 3 months to find it. Not a warship, not a lost sister or brother among the stars, but him, her grandfather, 10 years ago. Grandpa Tarek had boarded one of Earth's first deep space Orcs, a mission meant to carry knowledge, seeds, and hope to a distant moon in the Kepler system. He was a botanist, chosen for his wisdom, his calm hands, and his belief that life could grow anywhere, even in the coldest soil. I'll send you flowers from another world, he had told her the night before he left, tucking a small pressed daisy into her journal. She was 12 then. Now she was 20-2. And in all those years, she had only received 3 messages. The first, a photo of green shoots under a purple sky. The second, a short voice clip saying, "The soil remembers rain." The third, silence. Then, 5 years ago, the last signal from the Kepler arc faded, lost in a solar storm, declared gone. But Naya never believed it. She didn't think he was dead. She just thought he was too far, and no one was listening. Like so many others, she had grown up with the stories of the Leviathan, of Hillel and Maya, of the Eli link and humanity's quiet promise. No one is ever truly lost. She had learned Morse code, built her own receiver, even volunteered at the Global Signal Archive, where old messages from deep space were sorted and studied. But Grandpa's voice? His signal? Nothing. Until last week. While scanning old frequency bands ones most people had forgotten, she caught a whisper. A looped transmission. Not words. Music. A soft, slow tune played on a recorder, the same one Grandpa used to play every evening on the porch back home. The song was Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, but with a small change in the rhythm. A pause between the second and third note. Their secret version. Tears filled her eyes. He was alive, or at least, his message was. She cleaned the signal, boosted it, and traced its path. It wasn't coming directly from Kepler. It had bounced off a relay satellite, then a drifting probe, and a lunar mirror array before, landing in her corner of the network. It had traveled for years, and it had found her. Now, Nia wanted to answer, but how? The round-trip time for a message was over 9 years. By the time he got it, he'd be 94. She'd be 31. And there was no guarantee the signal would even reach him. She sat at her desk, staring at the blank message box. What do you say to someone you love when time and space stand between you? She thought of Eli, who built a system so no one would feel alone. Of Maya, who chose connection over adventure. Of Leo, who sang a lullaby across the stars. And she realized it wasn't about the answer. It was about the act of reaching. So she began Dot not with a long speech, not with sorrow, but with life. She recorded a video in it. She stood in a greenhouse behind the observatory, holding a small pot of soil. "Grandpa," she said, smiling, "I got your song. I know it's been a long time, but I'm here, and I'm growing something for you." She showed him the seeds Earth daisies, preserved in a vault, now sprouting under artificial suns. "I read your notes," she said, "about light cycles, about soil pH, about patience. I followed every word. And look, they're growing, just like you said they would." She paused, her voice softening. "I miss you every day, but I feel you when I touch the soil, when I hear the wind, when I play that old tune on the recorder. So I made a new one." She lifted the recorder to her lips and played the song their version, with the pause. Then, at the end, she tapped the side of the instrument. 3 short knocks, 3 long, 3 short so's. "I'm here." She uploaded the message through the Eli link, boosted by the Leviathan's auxiliary relay, now stationed in the asteroid belt to help carry Earth's quiet voices across the dark. Then she waited. Weeks passed. She kept tending the flowers, kept listening. One morning, as she watered the young daisies, her screen blinked. Incoming. Her breath caught. It wasn't a video. It wasn't even a voice. It was a seed packet, transmitted as data, encoded in a simple file. Dandelion. Grows anywhere. Tough, persistent, just like us. And a note to Nia from the Kepler colony. "Soil is rich. Flowers are blooming. We hear your song. We play it every evening. You are not alone." Tarek and the gardeners of Kepler. She laughed through tears. He was alive. They were growing Earths, flowers on another world. And they were listening. More came after that. Photos of a greenhouse, under a pink sky, a recording of workers humming the song as they planted, a child's drawing of a daisy with the words, "Grown from home." Nia shared it all. She started a project, Seeds of Connection, sending digital packets of Earth's plants, songs and stories to every long-distance mission, every colony, every drifting soul who needed to remember where they came from. And every evening, without fail, she played the song. And tapped the code. And somewhere, under a foreign sky, an old man with tired hands and bright eyes would pause, smile, and tap it back. When Earth's Titan warship arrived for first contact, every sensor flared, and every heart stopped. But what the galaxy slowly came to understand was this: humanity did not conquer space with weapons or speed. It filled the stars with tenderness. With songs hummed in silence. With flowers grown in alien soil. With signals sent not because they would be answered soon, but because they might be, one day, by someone who still remembers. And so, across the vast dark, a simple truth spread like light. No matter how far we go, no matter how long the silence, a human heart will always find a way to say, "I'm here. I care. Let's grow something beautiful together." In a quiet town nestled between green hills and winding rivers, a boy named Javi sat by the window every evening, watching the sky. Not for stars, not for satellites, but for a signal. His best friend, Lena, had moved to the Mars research colony. When her parents were chosen for a long-term climate study, she was only 13. He was 12. They promised to stay friends. They said distance wouldn't matter, but it did. At first, they sent messages every week, funny videos, drawings, voice notes about school and dreams, and the strange red dirt on Mars. But as time passed, the delays grew. A message took 3 minutes one way, but replies took days. Then weeks. Then silence. Javi didn't know what to do. He wasn't a scientist like Eli. He didn't have a radio like Leo. He couldn't grow flowers like Nia. He just had memories, and a heart that felt too heavy. He missed the way Lena laughed when he told. Bad jokes. How she always shared her lunch, even when she didn't have enough. How she once stayed up all night helping him finish a school project about Earth's oceans, her favorite thing in the world. Now, oceans were something she could only see in videos. And he was someone she hadn't heard from in months. He wanted to reach her. But every time he opened the message app, he froze. What if she didn't care anymore? What if she had made new friends? What if his words just floated into space and disappeared? So he said nothing. Instead, he started drawing. Every night he filled a sketchbook with pictures of their town, their school, the old bridge where they used to skip stones, the hill where they watched meteor showers. He drew the ocean too, wild and blue, full of whales and waves and sunlight. And in every picture, there was a small detail, a white flower the kind Lena used to pick and tuck behind her ear. He didn't send the drawings. He just kept them. Until one day, Ms. Alara, his art teacher, saw the sketchbook. "These are beautiful, Javi," she said softly. "You should share them. They're for Lena," he mumbled. "But she's so far away," Ms. Alara smiled. "Distance doesn't mean silence. And art travels farther than words sometimes." That night, she showed him something. A new project called Sky Pages, a digital library of human creativity, launched by the Leviathan crew and Earth's global archive. Poems, music, paintings, stories sent into space not just for aliens, but for us. For the people living on Mars, on moons, on distant stations. A way to remember home. "You can send your drawings," she said. "They'll be seen. Maybe even by her." Javi hesitated. Then he nodded. He scanned his sketches. Added a short note at the end. "Lena, I don't know if you'll see this, but I drew these because I remember. I remember everything. And I still skip stones on the bridge. Just for you. Miss you." Javi. He uploaded it to Sky Pages, tagged it with her name and the Mars colony code. Then he waited. Days passed. He kept drawing, kept watching the sky. Then, one quiet morning, his tablet buzzed. A notification. "Your Sky Pages entry has been viewed. Reply received." His hands shook as he opened it. It was a video. Lena, older now, her hair in 2 braids, sitting by a window on Mars. Outside, red dust swirled in the wind. But on her desk, real Earth soil in a small container, was a single white flower, blooming. "Got your drawings," she said, smiling. "I've been watching them every night. You drew the ocean, and I cried. I forgot what real waves looked like." She held up a sketch, one of them sitting on the hill, pointing at the stars. "You remembered the flower," she said softly. "I still wear it, dried in my pocket, every day." Then she showed him something else. On the wall behind her was a poster, his drawings, printed and taped together, like a mural. "I put it up in the common room," she said. "Everyone here loves it. They ask about Earth, about the ocean, about you." She paused. "I missed you so much. I thought you forgot me, but you were right.